Hello everyone, I am Jared Brooks, a broker with Vest Realty, and this is the weekly market update for the Phoenix Valley. And I love our weather in the Valley of the Sun right now. This is just about perfect. So today we're going to talk about the big battle, but not between buyers and sellers. It may not even be between the feds and the people, but there is a battle going on right now with our living costs. So let's first talk about the US and then we'll narrow down to just the Phoenix Valley. So over the last week, we saw a slight dip in the mortgage rates, but as we all know, that will not stay for very much longer. The feds will increase that rate by almost another % this November, this coming month. Sales and prices continue to cool down in the housing market across the US, but we have not seen any indicator of a crash. In fact, it's as if the sellers across America have taken the feds on in a battle of pricing. We know the feds are trying to bridle the inflation problem we've had at increasing rates. That is one of their only tools they have right now available to curb this. Eventually, they will be at a point where they can lower interest rates, but again, it might not be until next year, possibly even later. So this is all part of the process. This is something that has happened before. But homeowners are having none of it, and many of them are holding to the prices, including in Arizona. So let's talk about Arizona just a little bit right now. Cities that are in a seller's market right now in Arizona are Fountain Hills, Paradise Valley, and Scottsdale, just those three. Cities in a buyer's market right now are Tempe, Mesa, Goodyear, Peoria, Gilbert, Avondale, Surprise, Maricopa, Queen Creek, and Buckeye, 10 cities. Cities that are in a balanced market right now are only Cave Creek, Chandler, Phoenix, and Glendale. And these 4 cities will be in a buyer's market within the next 2 weeks if we keep heading in that direction that we're heading in. Buyer's concessions are becoming more and more common. Concessions are when a buyer pays part of the seller's closing costs or the seller helps with the buyer's closing costs. And because of the direction of the market right now, it is more common for the seller to help pay for those buyer's closing costs. Sellers are contributing on average about $7,000 per transaction, which is a little bit higher than it was back in 2020 when we began to lose concessions completely. So in the buyer's market cities, that amount will be higher, whereas in the seller market cities like Scottsdale, that will be much less. And in some cases, it will be very difficult to have a seller pay for the buyer's closing costs. Overall, we are still considered a balanced market right now, but we are headed toward a buyer's market. The 4 major things that are happening right now are both buyer and sellers are hesitating. There's a lot of chatter. Interest rates are increasing. Winter is here. First, regarding the chatter, there's so much happening in the economy and around the world on a global scale that many people are having analysis paralysis. They just can't make a decision right now. But honestly, there are some tools and there are ways to organize the information to use it to your advantage. A lot of what that has to do with is what our needs are, where you want to be in 1 year, where you want to be in 10 years. So it's important to look at the whole picture for you personally when making these decisions. Talk to an expert. I can't emphasize that more. The second factor, as we've discussed on multiple occasions, is interest rates. We know interest rates are going to rise this coming month. And when that happens, many people are going to step out of the market, buyers and sellers, because it will feel too difficult for them. Just won't want to do it. Earlier this year, most people were looking at mortgages that were half the amount. Paying for a house now is taking so much more of their income than it used to. People do have a limit. The third thing, winter is here. Typically when Thanksgiving comes around, people decide they want to hold off until January. So we will see many people taking their house off the market. But then, of course, when January comes around, that will increase again. The fourth thing, buyers and sellers are hesitating right now. Buyers are drawing the line. They don't want to keep spending more and more of their monthly income on housing. They will just stay right where they're at or find another option, such as next-gen housing or new locations. And sellers are holding firm to their prices. We've seen prices come down over the last few months, but it's easy to tell that many of them are holding to their price. Some because they bought at a higher price and they can't sell, and some have a really low interest rate and would rather not move to a new home if they have to double their payment. So my perspective, it's not buyers fighting sellers or sellers taking advantage of buyers. There are some huge changes that are happening globally and locally, and we have to know how to pivot so that we can make the best decision for ourselves personally. So hopefully that was helpful. If you have any questions or you want me to be your go-to person for anything real estate related, go ahead and message me or ask me any questions that you might have. Hopefully you have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time.